ahead out of the Harambe Wildlife Preserve. Now this is a real truck. I am a real person up here driving it. This is home with some very real animals. So please, for your safety, stay seated the entire time. Keeping those hands, arms, feet, and legs in the truck the entire time as well. This is their home. These animals are left to do whatever they want. So sometimes it means they're a little bit hard to see. If you want any pictures, I recommend having those cameras out and ready. Sort of live, sport, or action mode. That's how we cannot stop for every single animal that we do come across. When I do stop, it can't be for too incredibly long. Got lots of ground to cover out here today. Alright, let's see what we can find down here. Starting in the Little Aturi Forest. Animals pretty shy, like the okapi that's there on the right side. You know, okapis have stripes on their legs, but they are more related to giraffes than any other animal. They share a few things with their giraffe cousins, like how they eat. With their very long prehensile tongues, they can use their tongues and we use our hands. Those tongues are long enough they can even look themselves in the eyeball. Look to the top of the hill there on the left-hand side. There is going to be a black rhino up there. It's eaten. One of the few types of rhinos that are left in the world. Black rhinos are pretty antisocial. You're not going to find more than one or two around in the same general area. Try to get up here, get a little bit better of an angle. On the left side there, underneath that rhino though, kind of down on the ground here, is going to be a saddle-billed stork. This is it laying down. They can stand to be about 5 feet tall. They have a 9-foot wide wingspan. About as wide as that canopy up above your head. There's another stork there on that's right in its nest. Now the black rhinos are also one of the smaller types of rhinos. Yes, they're big. They can weigh about 3,000 pounds. But they're not as big as other rhinos. They can weigh about 5,000 pounds. They're a lot more muscular, a lot more lean. On the left there, on the top of the hill, are going to be a couple of copper-colored antelope. Those are bongos. Bongos, nickname is the ghost of the forest. Mainly nocturnal, pretty shy. Both male and female bongos are going to have horns. Female horns cross in the center, whereas males go parallel up next to each other. The next section of the reserve we're heading down into is the Zafari River, home of some semi-aquatic animals. So keep your eyes on the riverbanks and islands. We're down in the water, but it looks like we're going to have some pretty great luck. On the right side, there's going to be a lot of gray and white birds, the pink-backed pelicans. Can live in colonies up to 500, and that is a Nile hippo hanging out there with them. Hippos are going to be most active at night. They walk around 6 miles every night in the dark to look for their food. Even though they have really big teeth, hippos only eat different types of grass, plants, fruits, and vegetables. They aren't herbivores. The water's kind of choppy over here. Guys, in the water, you never know. Oh, there's going to be another one here on the left-hand side out of the water. Hippos can be on the social side. They live in groups called a bloat. Looks like there's one there, a little bit one further up here. Now that we're looking at these hippos, they have really big bodies, really tiny legs. They can swim. They are just kind of bad at it.
Are they females or males?
Hanging out over here on this left side of the water, these are the females hanging out together. But hippos don't really swim. What they do is they sink to the bottom of the river and they trot like horses trotting, using the floor to propel their bodies forward. Hippopotamus is Latin, kind of means river horse.
Okay, I think I'm good now.
We are going to make our way across this bridge and head on down to the river. The next part of the reserve is going to be the largest, both in size and in population. It's going to be the savannah. It's going to be home to quite a few of those more well-known African animals. Them live in pretty decent-sized groupings as well, so we tend to have a pretty good look out here. As we head down into the savannah, on the right side is going to be one example of the several large trees we're going to find out here. The trees like this on the right are baobab trees, or the tree of life, or the upside-down tree. They got lots of different nicknames. But their primary job is water. They absorb water like a sponge, almost, all year. They Whenever the summer comes on, water holes are a little bit dried up, a little bit hard to find. Animals can go up to those trees and stab it with their tusks, whose horns are being sticky to drink. They also go leafless for 9 months of the year. Kind of looking like that. I can look if they're I don't know how to talk. Kind of looks like they're upside down. We are now down out in the savannah on the right side. We're going to see a few Maasai giraffes roaming around. Hopefully we get a little closer to them. You can see their spots a little bit better. Maasai giraffe spots are going to be a little bit funkier than you're used to. They have all different shapes and sizes. Some darker, some lighter. Got a really good splatter pink art. And those big friends out there with the big horns are the Ankole cattle. Can also be called Watusi cattle. Watusi is the area they were first domesticated. And when I mean domesticated, I mean completely. They're not even used for beef or dairy. They're really big pets. On the left-hand side, walking around, kind of down by the water hole, are going to be some African painted dogs.
Oh, yes.
Let's see if they come back up here.
With white hair.
They are distant relatives to those doggies we have at home, except for these are much better hunters. They're some of the best hunters in Africa because they hunt together as a family. There's going to be one laying by that den there on the left. And these African painted dogs, they don't bark or howl, they squeak. They squeak so they can hunt without being heard by the hunters. The painted dogs are led by one dominant mating pair. So the more dominant male and female are the ones that are allowed to get together and have puppies. The other ones are not allowed, but their responsibility is to raise those puppies as long as all the others.
The horns don't fall off on the cattle.
Nope, they don't.
Okay.
They have a honeycomb-like structure inside. That's how they keep themselves cool. They can push their blood inside of those horns to help. Oops, that sounds like a big air conditioning unit. Here's a closer look at these Ankole cattle here. Or no, the giraffes, excuse me. Looks like the one we're driving next to here is a baby. It's a little bit less than a year old, coming up on 1. It's pretty quick. They're about 6 feet tall when they're born. End up being around 16 to 20 feet tall when they're finished growing. Their tails can be just as long as their necks if you count the banks by their backs. All the way down to the ends of those hairs. Hairs are pretty thick and wiry, make an amazing fly swatter. And they're going to do pretty much everything they can standing up. You really don't see giraffes laying down all that much. Mainly because it takes them way too long to stand back up. Predators could run up and surprise them and they couldn't get up fast enough to get away. So if you see a giraffe laying down, it's either because it feels 100% safe in the area, which is very, very hard for a giraffe. They're always on the lookout. Or they're babies. That doesn't even mean giraffes sleep standing up. It doesn't really matter to them though. They sleep about 30 minutes in total every day. But not all at the same time. They spread it out into 1 to 2 minute power naps. As we come around this way, out to the right side, I already see a few wildebeest grazing on the top of the hill. Over 1.5 million of them that come together and migrate around 500 to 1,000 miles. Large migrations. And these taller antelope that are hanging out with the wildebeest are eland, one of the larger types of antelope that are in the world. These elands are about 6 feet tall at their shoulder. The one a little bit further back there on the right is the male. He's a little bit beefier, has a beautiful wide spiral to his horns. The female is going to be a little bit closer here. She has a tight spiral to her horns and stuff about halfway. Now, these are one of the few types of prey that fight predators off instead of running away from them. They like their personal space even if it's not predators. Whenever they walk, their knees make a really loud popping noise, so it's other animals know that they're coming in to get lost. We're going to get a pretty close-up look at a couple of giraffes here, especially on the left. Try not to make any noises out of things. We're going to head into a more shaded area of the savannah. See if our luck continues over this way. Alright, start looking at the left-hand side. In this big patch of trees there on a rock, it's going to be a mandrill. They're the same kind of monkey Rafiki is. There's gonna be a male hanging out there in those rocks. The sun lets us see him. One of the larger types of monkeys in the world. The one back there is a female. So male mandrills are the only ones that have those beautiful bright red and blue face and butts, whereas females are a little bit more on the small side. They're about 25 pounds and they're all brown. All mandrills have 2-inch long canine teeth. They love to protect themselves with them and eat, but they're also highly social animals inside social groups, and they love to smile at each other, show off those teeth. They're proud of them. Alright, we are gonna beam up on across this bridge and see if we have any better luck. A little quiet over here except for that mandrill. Mandrills, kind of like chipmunks, have pockets in their cheeks. You can hold about 2 weeks worth of food in there at a time. The walls are going to be a little bit taller around us here as well. They have a little bit of a red tint to them. This stuff is red clay. Red clay is probably one of animals. A lot of animals, like elephants, their favorite food. It's got lots of different vitamins and minerals. They don't get their typical diets of different grass and plants. So, somebody was around here. They were having a snack there on the right side. Some tusk marks in the wall. I can't guarantee that we're going to see any, but they were definitely here. Head up to the next water hole here. I don't see anything over here ahead. Now, quite a few of these animals out here on the reserve are endangered. Lots of them are endangered for several different reasons. Poaching is a big one, though, for a lot of different animals, including those African painted dogs. Some of my favorite animals out here on the reserve. African painted dogs get poached a lot of times because they end up in places where it used to be their home, but it's not due to overdevelopment in their homes. They end up going back somewhere they're thinking it was land that they used to have, and it's not technically theirs anymore. Other humans have made homes into it. Or some people just like their coats and want to poach them for those fur and sell it on the black market for a pretty high price. So amazing things conservation is doing to help those African painted dogs is they're going out and stealing snares that poachers are using, and they're turning those snares into beautiful pieces of artwork that look like African painted dogs and all sorts of different other animals. You can find them online. They're pretty reasonably priced for better foot tall statues, about $20. And every single penny of that money you made from those sculptures go right back into African painted dog conservation. Help make sure their national parks are staying good for those animals and make sure those animals are keeping their homes for as long as they can. Every single animal like that does have a conservation effort. You should know what you're looking for. So go with your favorite endangered animal. Now these beautiful birds on the left-hand side are the greater pink flamingos. They're called greater because they're the largest type of flamingo in Africa. And when I mean largest, I mean they're pretty big. Now this is as pink as they do get. They don't even get this pink until they're around 2. There is an elephant back there on the left-hand side.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of walking away from us. Okay, it was by itself. Now, elephants typically hang out in family herds as well, by a matriarch, so the eldest female of the herd is the one in charge. But this one's over here by itself, probably because it's a male. Males are a little bit on the territorial side, like their independence. One last look at the elephant. I sadly cannot stop right here, but it's over there. We are now over in the eastern part of the savannah where the trees get a lot denser, and there's even a giant mud wall there on the left-hand side. Now, animals like elephants and rhinos will use that mud kind of like we would use a sunscreen in the bug spray, since they don't have any fur for others to keep themselves protected from the sun. Looks like we're going to get an okay view of some well-known predators up ahead here. On the left side, keep a look, and there are some cheetahs up here. I see the head of one. Pretty chill right now. There's going to be another one back there behind the big clump of rocks on the other side. Oh, there's one up here walking. Well, I'm upset at this. There's going to be a couple more laying down here as well. Now, cheetahs are going to be most active during the day. That's when they do most of their hunting. But kind of right when the sun comes up, and a little bit before it goes down. See, cheetahs are fast. They can run 65 to 70 miles per hour. But they're built for speed, not endurance. Other predators can eventually sneak up and take their prey from them. So cheetahs hunt during the day when everybody else is typically asleep. That's why they have those black stripes down their face. They use those black stripes as kind of like a pair of sunglasses. They don't roar. They more sound like the cats we have at home. They meow and they hiss and they purr. They chuff. So looking to the left of these Kobe rocks. Both predator and prey love to use these Kobe rocks as a lookout point. And it's kind of first come, first served. But there is a lion there. Holy smokes. Let's swing around this rock here. Looks like a male and a female lion hanging out here. Oh, that's a big yawn. He's a pretty young guy. That mane isn't fully grown in yet. The older and bigger he gets, the bigger and darker that mane is going to get with him. But the female is doing what lions typically do during the day, which is sleep. They sleep up to 20 hours. And they do roar. Their roars are incredibly loud. You can hear them up to 5 to 6 miles away. Well, thank you for the pose. And he'll lay down. Yep, there he goes. Very dramatic. We're going to come over here and over to the left-hand side, laying on the ground, are a couple of female ostriches. They have beautiful light gray feathers, whereas males have dark black feathers. Hi, girls. On the right over there is going to be a water buck, another type of antelope. It's its name because it drinks a lot of water. Now, I didn't really get a great look at its nose, but it has a beautifully heart-shaped nose. It's really cute. And a white target on its butt. Now, ostriches, they lay their eggs together as a family, as a community. That way they can keep them all safe. And it looks like we got lucky enough. On the right, there is a pile of ostrich eggs. So what they do is the more dominant female of the area lay her egg somewhere. And the rest of them are like, that looks like a good spot. We'll put ours right next to it. They're not in a nest, and they don't need to be. The average egg weighs about 3 pounds, about 2 dozen chicken eggs. It said an adult human can stand on top of each egg, and it will not crack. So, who needs a nest? Those are real eggs, yeah.
How long till they hatch?
They're not fertilized. Those are the children. We only have 2 females out here. We're out here in Magadi Glen, home of the Warden's host. And the Wardens around here love to raise some Nigerian dwarf goats. These goats are pretty sweet, pretty playful. Whenever they play, they like to headbutt. But headbutting to a goat is kind of the same thing as us giving each other a high five. People raise goats for all different reasons, including they keep your land looking good. They're a pretty good lawnmower. Eat different weeds, flowers, grass, berries. They also produce a pretty sweet milk. You can make it in terms of soaps and cheese. That does wrap up our time here on the reserve. So I'm going to take us back to the village to Toulouse on your next wild adventure. There are other animals out and about for y'all to go take a peek at. What's closest to us here is going to be the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. You're going to find, of course, some gorillas out there. They're western lowland gorillas. There's a family trip and a bachelor troop. You're also going to be able to find some zebra, another hippopotamus, maybe an underwater viewing area of them. Meerkats, Nicomo rats, more okapi. There's even a pretty decent sized aviary filled with African birds. It's free flying. They have bird spotting guides you can borrow during your time in there. It's got a 15 to 20 minute self-guided walking tour, so I think as long or as short as you need. We should recommend if you have any strollers, scooters, or wheelchairs, grab those and take them in with you. You're going to want your step during that hike. Now, another great and easy way to help these animals out, other than by learning about them, is doing little things to help out yourself and your home and your own local ecosystems. It includes those 3 R's: reduce, reusing, and recycling whenever possible. Helping our home stay safer and cleaner helps their home stay safer and cleaner. That way our conservationists can worry about those animals in the bigger ecosystems a little bit more. Alright, looks like our dock is open, so we're going to say Kwa Harini. Kwa Harini means to go well. I want y'all to go well, go wild, go make some memories, go drink some water, and a sauna. Thank y'all so much for choosing Kingdom Zafari, and I hope you have a great rest of your day out there.
I still hear your voice when you sleep next to me. I still feel your touch in my dream. Forgive me my weakness, but I don't know why. Without you, it's hard to survive. 'Cause every time we touch, I get this feeling, and every time we kiss, I swear I could fly. Can't you feel my heart beat fast? I want this to last. Need you by my side. 'Cause every time we touch, I feel the static, and every time we kiss, I reach for the sky. Can't you hear my heart beat so I can't let you go? Want you in my life. Your arms are my castle, your heart is my sky. They wipe away tears that I cry. The good and the bad times, we've been through them all. You make me rise when I fall. 'Cause every time we touch, I get this feeling, and every time we kiss, I swear I could fly. Can't you feel my heart beat fast? I want this to last. Need you by my side. 'Cause every time we touch, I feel the static, and every time we kiss, I reach for the sky. Can't you hear my heart beat so I can't let you go? Want you in my life. Cause every time we touch, I get this feeling, and every time we kiss, I swear I could fly. Can't you feel my heart beat fast? I want this to last. Need you by my side. I still hear your voice when you sleep next to me. I still feel your touch in my dream. Forgive me my weakness, but I don't know why. Without you, it's hard to survive. 'Cause every time we touch, I get this feeling, and every time we kiss, I swear I could fly. Can't you feel my heart beat fast? I want this to last. Need you by my side. next to me. I still feel your touch in my dreams.